Welcome back to All Angles Young Achievers Special. I'm Giovanni Dennis. Now we have been speaking with people in sports, academics, agriculture, and now we have a social impact creator.
Yeah.
I've been reading a few articles, Joel Nomdarkham, about you and looking at your transition. First of all, you have a degree in journalism.
Yes.
That means you went to Carmack.
Yes.
I remember one day I was with Miss Ellington and she brought you along when you had just graduated. You know, how did you make that move from having a degree in journalism to not doing journalism? You're a social impact creator. That's how I've seen your definition evolve over the years.
Yes.
Explain that.
You know, firstly, journalism will always be my first love. I tell people all the time, I was introduced to this profession when I was in grade 6. I remember a career day, and I saw the title on the cartridge paper. Because I know I've been different from I was very young. And I asked the person what that was, and she told me, I was like, oh, the cool people on TV. But, that's always my passion. That's where I got a lot of foundation in terms of fact-checking information. And when I got to university, I wanted to dig a little deeper in marketing. And that's where that transition kind of happened. So I had a really solid foundation in journalism. I did get to practice a little when I did daytime life here at TVJ in terms of television presenting. But then my passion really is marketing. So journalism is my first love, but my passion is really marketing. So the transition was really using that as a solid foundation into marketing, and now discovering social impact marketing, which is also quite fascinating.
What does that mean? For somebody watching at home, people, is he an influencer? What does that mean? And I see you're very clear to say
very
that.
Clear.
I don't really see myself as an influencer. So define social impact marketing.
Spending 7 years in marketing, I've come to realize the importance of storytelling, community marketing, and really focusing on the people. There's this big thing when it comes down to brands in marketing and the importance of sales and driving revenue, when really people are the heart of every single dollar that you earn. And for me, storytelling and using my platform has become a very important and critical part of my brand. And it has also been that elevation to how I can bring some meaningful change to my communities and, Jamaica, the region, the world sometimes. So the social impact creator, what I do is I use social media, of course, to really focus on feel-good story and initiatives that not only brighten people's day, but it really can help people who are less fortunate. I use that as my tactic.
As you mentioned that, so you partnered with NCB.
Yes, recently.
And you went to a school,
yes.
A teacher, and you did something very special for her. Tell me about that and how that happened.
You see, NCB reached out because of the work I've been doing. I've been giving back my time, and I've also been using content in a very cool way to capture that. I tell people all the time that, yes, corporate social responsibility and CSR, as we call it, and giving back should not always be this cheap approach. You're going to read to a school, you go and take 2 pictures with your phone and fling it up. You need to take a really concerted effort. Just as though you spend on the big marketing campaigns, spend on it as well. So NTB reached out and they're like, hey Joel, we have $100,000 for you to give away. I'm like, oh, all right, bring it, come, And I got an opportunity to use it as how I wanted, but I wanted to try and see how much I could stretch it. So I said, okay, 50,000 to somebody that I know and 50,000 towards somebody that I don't know. And I surprised my very good friend, Mrs. Simpson, who is a teacher at the St. George's Girls' School. And it was a random surprise for her. She had no idea because I do this. I've adopted her classroom where I go in probably once a quarter to read to the girls. And I bring my friends there as well. So she thought it was just another reading. And it was the girls' Christmas Day or Christmas treat. So I went and surprised her. It was also her 50th birthday. But we have a really good relationship. We do a lot for the school there. And the other 50,000, I use my online community to help me by being a social impact creator to select the person. And I got introduced to, I met another teacher, Mrs. Joan Roberts from St. Mary, and I'll be doing some work with her as well. So I was very happy about that. And that's just a tip of the iceberg in terms of how you can really use your platform to really create some meaningful change. It's very noisy on social media. There are so many people who talk about change and not really doing anything, and I decided to just do it.
One of the things I've read about what you're saying, which is why you stay away from this influencer kind of thing, it's about being true to yourself and being authentic.
Yes.
How important is that for you amidst the chaos and the noise that you're speaking of?
It's so important because I can only be myself. I can only be myself. And it also builds on the integrity that you have. I can't turn on and turn off my integrity. So a lot of times I get requests from brands.
Hold a second, I think that's a very
we can't turn it off.
Is that something in your practice? I can't turn on and turn off my integrity.
But I can't. And as such, sometimes I get requests for partnerships or participation in events, and I'm like, no, I can't do that, And up to this morning, I was messaging my friend Danielle because she sent over this opportunity that she thought was cool and was fitting for, my company. And I was talking to her and I was like, I just parted ways with that client because I felt it was, a little bit out of the scope of what I wanted and why I started the company. And she's like, that's one thing I love about you, the fact that you're actually honest about these things. So for me, it's very important, the partnership, the alignment. If it doesn't fit into what I do, or if I don't believe in it, I can't support it. And I think that's why I'm able to effectively do what I do, and the brands do want to work with me because I know that they're getting 100% authenticity. So it's something that I pride myself with. I don't use money to drive my decisions, so it also makes it a lot easier. I really bring it back to impact on community and results.
As you mentioned, impact on community, you're very big on reading and changing the idea of masculinity in Jamaica. I was looking at your Black Kings Rising movement and where that came from. But one of the things you're very big on is helping young people come up as well. You did a partnership with Red Stripe recently about bringing young marketers now with senior veteran people and creating a mentorship program. Tell us about that.
So that's a project. That's a project that I wrote on my wall 3 years ago when I just moved, and I have it was called Project Mike, and then I had 4 different things around it. I had amplify. I had about 4 words on that wall. I wish I had taken a picture and brought it with me. And Project Mike birthed out of that constant need to energize and educate the next generation of marketers and creators. I realized that growing up, I never really had a lot of role models apart from some of my really amazing managers who I had while I was growing up in corporate. Ayana Curtin, Shani Jaja, some really good persons who were there to mentor me. But when I look at an all-encompassing approach to marketing as an industry, I never really had a lot of role models. And I get requests all the time and conversations from young people who want to break into it. They want to do media. They want to know how marketing works. They want to get to the understanding of, advertising. And that's where that project really came from. And Red Stripe was a big partner and supporter of that. We were able to onboard 20 young people. They went through a whole day training. And I consistently spend my days mentoring young marketers and kind of just working and providing and guiding them. I think I need to own an HR company because everybody will come to me, say they want to interview. Me sit down with them, give them some tips. They'll come back to me, Joel, I got the job. Sometimes I don't remember.
Universe, they're directing you in a path. And I want to speak a little bit about that, your own social impact agency. But before we go to Amplify Studios, one of the things they're very big on is helping young men.
Yes.
And I read where one of the things you want to help, I guess, cut out is the catcalling culture that we have and how we...
I don't like it.
We see... Why is that important for you?
If we really want to get serious about certain conversations in Jamaica, there's a lot of things that we have to unlearn. And as young men and as men generally, a big part of the challenge and the issue is that we don't correct our brothers, we don't call out, we don't do none of that. And when it comes down to some of the microscopic issues that are there, some people may see it as, okay, that's a micro issue, but really and truly it festers over the time. Catcalling leads to sexual harassment. It leads to so many other things. It leads to women feeling uncomfortable the moment you're in a space with men because of what would have happened over the years. And certain things that we see as culture, we need to unlearn a lot of that. And as such, what we try to do is through, BKR Collective, we try to create content.
That's Black Kings Rising,
which is no bridging. We just rebrand. Big up the man them.
So it's no bridging.
Bridging, yeah, because we're trying to reach the Caribbean now. And you say, you remember bridging attack or that kind of vibe.
So what is bridging? Just define bridging quickly.
It's still a movement that's going to create compelling content along the lines of men and family, education, mental health. But we kind of want to bring it across out of Jamaica now across the region. And we found that word in particular is easily rolls off.
Bridging,
Bridging. So I have 2 bridging. Trinidad, another one from the Bahamas, and we're pretty much bringing it together to create a space. Like how you have GQ Men and Mental Health UK. We kind of want to create an online platform in the Caribbean that does that as well.
Okay.
So we're putting in the work and things. So we had to do a quick little rebrand.
So we have to probably speak to you again
Yeah,
in the future
about that.
to hear how much you're doing in that. But you now have your own social impact agency as well, Amplify Studios. Break that down for us. What is a social impact agency?
So pretty much most of what I just explained in terms of that feel-good approach to marketing, I try to impress upon brands that you need to start thinking beyond the dollars and the sales. Think about people. People come first. They make sales and they're inspired by what you put out. So if you want to communicate or sell a product, you don't need to go to the customer and say, okay, here's a product I'm selling for $30. Find some people within the company or find some clients who use it and tell their story. So that's what we do. I got tired of hearing in corporate every day that I need to generate X amount of leads. So I parted ways with my previous employer. And as soon as I did that, I said, okay, 6 months, I'm going to travel for 3 and I'm going to figure out this business thing for 3. What do I want to do? And I say, you know what? A strong point of mine is always bringing people and communities together and thinking creatively with content. And I always want to give back.
Sorry, I just want to stop you right there. You mentioned when I was reading, I saw that traveling is big for you because it helps you as a creator.
Yes,
how so from our viewers? Explain how traveling helps you as a creator.
It refuels, you get inspired, you get to experience so many different things. I wish we had a program in Jamaica where we could just send our citizens to go and explore for 2 weeks and come back because it does so much. You get to experience so many different things, you meet new people, new ideas. And for me, that moment after leaving corporate and I got the chance to go and spend some time with my aunt in the UK, went to Wales, went to Northern Ireland, went to Grenada, St. Vincent. It did so much in even birthing the company because of how inspired and how many different places I was able to pull inspiration from, and then kickstarting with Amplify Studios, it came back to the same thing. Okay, you spend X amount of years in corporate, what do you want to do next? And I'm like, listen, I love giving back. So every client that I work with right now, they have to have a giving back aspect of it. I have a dental company, New Hope Dental, and every 3 months or I think right now it's every month, we do like free cleaning for kids in the inner city communities. I have a t-shirt line. She has to donate $1 for each sale. It all comes back. I did a partnership the other day and I held a whole, networking session for creatives. So there has to be some purpose behind any brands that we work with. So when it comes down to the social impact side of it, it's just helping companies to reimagine. And this is why I'm not a non-profit, because it's still marketing, but it's helping brands and executives to reimagine how they market. Stop going to people and say, hey, here's a product. Go to them and tell them, okay, this is how we can improve your life.
Where do you get that thinking from? I'm hearing you speak and we have like a minute to go, so I'm sorry we don't have more time. Like I don't know if we can get some extra time. But everything you say comes back down to helping your fellow man. In simple terms, like I'm listening, every single thing that you're touching, it ultimately comes back down to helping people. Where do you get that mindset from?
I got it from my mom growing up. I was brought up not to be materialistic, and I was brought up to give back, 100%. Then I went into Key Club when I was in high school, and at that age you're learning how to give back, how to go on to the Golden Age home and feed old people, and all of that, and that's really where it started. And then it was further grounded at Kingston College.
Wow. Feeding people. You've really fed us fed Jamaica with so much positive energy and positive vibe. Joel, I could speak to you for the next 15, 20 minutes, even half an hour, because there's so much more to unpack in what you're doing. But that's all the time we have. Thank you so much. Social impact marketer, creator, business owner, entrepreneur, philanthropist as well. Joel Nomdarkham. I want to thank as well our earlier guests in our Young Achievers Special, Roshan Clark, who is a national athlete, Niall Anderson, the Rhodes Scholar, and Deandra Rowe, the CARICOM young farmer in the Caribbean, the champion CARICOM farmer. It has been such an excellent program. I feel inspired speaking with our Young Achievers. I hope you did too at home. That's all the time we have for All Languages.